Welcome back to Super Bulky. Linen Appreciation Month continues, and we're on week 3. Is it week 3? So we're back with 3 more linen blend yarns that we carry. Last week we discussed 3 100% linen yarns. This week we're moving on to our cotton and linen blends. They are, linen is a vegetable yarn. It is made of plants. Linen is, flax is a plant. And this may surprise you, but so is cotton. So the yarns that we're going to be discussing today are all cotton and linen blends. So they have some of the qualities of both of those fibers together. And you like cotton yarns, you were just telling me.
Yeah. They're really nice. They're cool. They're pleasant to handle during the summer. They breathe really well.
Yeah. We live in a very warm weather area, and if you're a warm weather needle crafter, like if you're a knitting or crochet person and you're somewhere hot, you want to be able to make things and have them on you, or if you're the sort of person who actually wears things you make, which I am not terribly, but still it has to sit in my lap. And cotton is very, breathable, and it's easy care. And linen has those qualities too. It's breathable, it's light, it's easy to care for. And when you mix the two fibers together, you get some of the... cotton has a little more bounciness in the hand than cotton, like a sponginess. Not the springiness of wool, of course, but it's got that, cottony quality. I guess there's a reason cotton comes in cotton balls and not like cotton flat floopy things.
You can get those.
You can?
Yeah.
Oh. Send us your best pictures of flat cotton floopy things and we'll evaluate them.
When I'm doing my nails.
Oh, right. So, cotton linen blends. What do we have? Let's start with the most cottony of the ones on our list today, and that is what Tim is holding here. This is Long Bloom. Yeah. And you've been working with this guy for a very long time now.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with this yarn. It's really good. It's fun to work with. It's great for, a long-term project that you're taking with you everywhere because it's in a cake, which is very convenient. So
it's so you can see the structure of this yarn. It's a chainette. And it goes from this like matte, very flat color, and it has these shiny bits throughout it that just give these like little pops of visual texture as you work. And it has a long color change in each of the colorways.
That's what really keeps it interesting is the different texture, the different like shininess. Like you've got the flat like cotton, and then you've got the shiny bits.
Yeah, but it's a textural difference.
Yeah, it's not boring to knit with, basically.
Right, you can trick yourself with those little like dopamine bursts where you're like, I got to another shiny part, and then it goes, and then you have to, and then, okay, I'm back to this. Another shiny part.
Basically.
And like, I've been knitting this section for so long. Here comes the color change. I can see that it's lighter now. So I think self-striping yarns and long color change yarns are fun for that, especially if you have a repetitive pattern, injecting that little element that changes over time.
Yeah, like my first project that I worked on was in a color changing yarn that had like varied grist, and it was a repetitive pattern, but it worked out because it was interesting to work with.
So what have you been working on?
Yeah, I've been working on this. This is the zigzag scarf. I've been working on this kind of off and on for forever. It's been my kind of like, I'll come back to this one later project because it's got over 30,000 stitches on it as it stands right now. It's a big one. I should have made it maybe like 2 repeats of this pattern skinnier to save time. But,
I find skinny to be overrated.
Ha.
So this has been Tim's like I don't know, his on again off again project as other things have cropped up, and you've worked on some samples for us, and you'll make a quicker thing, and then back to this. And the zigzag scarf, it's by Christy Cam. We'll link to that, and it's often done. She recommended, the designer intended it for long color changes, but shorter color changes than this. This is more of like a gradient ombre fade. But this is interesting because it's such a small gauge. You get that optical mixing. So from a distance, it's kind of like it goes this the gold kind of burnish color, but it's pink and green up close. And so it's a very, very interesting effect with this kind of yarn. And here, let me see.
I really like it. One of the things
Give it a
that I
little
would
close-up.
One of the things that I would change if I were to like do this project over again is I would take two cakes and they'd be the same color, and then I would completely pull one out and then reball it so that I've got the colors going in different directions, and then they would meet in the middle.
The ends would be the same, and then it would go in and meet in the middle. That would be interesting.
That would be a lot of fun.
So that you can find that pattern on Ravelry. It's a free pattern, which is always lovely. And in fact, for our other two yarns, we've got two more free patterns for you today, which is cool, which you weren't able to get before because we've just put them on to Ravelry. So they are new for you now. So what is next? Let's talk about Zoe. This is by Juniper Moon Farms. It is a cotton linen blend. It is 60% cotton, 40% linen.
You just know this stuff.
I do this for a living. Yeah, I never forget anything, especially a grudge. So Juniper Moon Farm Zoe, it's really interesting. I love texture generally. I love texture-y yarns. So if you look, this yarn has this like thick and thin kind of quality. Not like a novelty thick and thinness, but it's got some kind of like a slubbiness. It's got this quality where the yarn isn't particularly even, which is interesting to me.
It's not that it changes or like the grist is like crazy dynamic. It's just it's got a texture to it.
Yeah,
like
so it has a very homemade kind of quality. It's got kind of a very natural looking quality. It comes in two different varieties. The Zoe, this is the DK weight Zoe. This is also the DK, but it is Zoe Dappled, which they make in dappled colors. They're you can see they're colorful.
I haven't messed with that one to see how the color changes go.
Yeah,
in the
just
project.
like
how do they go?
Like that.
Oh.
Yeah, just little areas of color. And they've got really good pattern support, Juniper Moon Farms. You can find a lot of patterns that were designed for these yarns that they look really good in because the designers intended them to be worked that way. Speaking of designers intending to work them that way, I have a little boomerang scarf for you all. This is called Brick and Stucco is what I call this one because I leaned into that sort of texture. So this is a long boomerang shaped scarf, asymmetrical, which I like because like how do you wear this thing? It doesn't matter. It's asymmetrical anyhow. You just sort of put it on. Like the model I have wearing it in the photographs, and then I strangle myself on camera. It's like a man in a suit, which is it's a fun way to accessorize.
Yeah, you don't often see that.
No, I don't often see men at suits.
Men at suits. Yeah, no, I don't either.
Yeah.
I am at suits. Where are you?
Anyway, so this has two different stitch patterns. This is called Stamen stitch or a garter slip stitch pattern. It has this kind of nubbly honeycomb effect, and then a little contrast color at the end, alternating between eye of partridge stitch and half linen stitch, just to give it a little bit of cool variations. But it's all made of slip stitch patterns. It works up pretty quickly, and the reason I designed this with slip stitch patterning in mind is because of the structure that it gives the yarns. They something that can happen to the cellulose yarns like linen and cotton is that in three-dimensional kind of structured stitch patterns, they can become a little bit lifeless. They can just sort of lie there pretty limply. But using the slip stitch, you can see it has a lot of squish. It has a lot of bounce.
Interesting, yeah.
So I feel like it's a nice transitional season accessory, but it still has some life to it. It's still, bouncy and fun with a nice three-dimensional texture. And like I said, Zoe, Juniper Moon Farms has a lot of pattern support. We'll link to some really cool things we've seen in Zoe. The last yarn we have for you today is one of my current favorites. It's actually the same fiber composition as Zoe. It is a 60% cotton, 40% linen, and this is Mojave by Kelborn Woolens. And we're actually really close to the Mojave Desert. It's like just over the mountains to the east of us here in Bakersfield. So,
there's a lot more meaning to the name for us.
yeah, if we cared to go see a desert,
I would want to be wearing something made out of Mojave.
yeah,
because
it's nice and cool and drapey and open. If you ever have the misfortune of visiting a desert. But I love this yarn. It is so soft in the hand. It has all the great qualities that we've been talking about with linen for so long here in Linen Appreciation Month. And that great softness that cotton brings.
Yeah, it's been incredibly popular in the shop. Like,
it has.
We've run out of several colors.
Yeah, a reorder, which is always a fun thing to do when you own a yarn shop, believe me. So we had a class, and the ladies were making little tops, and Mojave was a popular yarn choice because of that warm weather quality. So what do I have for this? I have a crochet pattern. This is called Beach Day, and it is made in 4 colors of Mojave, and it is as, I guess, slit stitchy as crochet gets. It is in a crocheted linen stitch, sometimes called crochet seed stitch, or I think I've seen it called granite stitch. I'm just going to go ahead and call it crochet linen stitch because we are appreciating linen this month.
Smart.
So that seems reasonable to me.
Very appropriate.
It's so smushy. It's so smushy.
It's shockingly so. It's got a lot of bounce. It drapes beautifully. It blew me away when I saw this one when you were finished with it.
This is fun to have in the shop because you just have to sort of like tie it onto a little mannequin, and then I'll see someone look at Mojave, and then I'll go and I'll say, wait, feel this. And then they go, oh.
It's like a cuddly child's blanket, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
and
it's that cuddly.
If it were a child's blanket, of course, it's really easy to care for. It's linen, it's cotton. Throw it in the wash.
It'll only get more drapey and flowy and nice.
Yeah. So both of these patterns, the brick and stucco pattern and the Beach Day shawl, are available on Ravelry now for free. They are free downloads for you. And we'll put the links to those in the description of the video. Next week, we'll be back with our 3 final yarn profiles for Linen Appreciation Month. I can't believe it's almost over, right? It's
absolutely crazy.
Yeah. I read a meme or like a share on Facebook or something that said this week or this month, no, not this month, this year went January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. And that's about how it has felt.
Yeah. No joke.
So while we catch up with the fact that it's going to be September here in a minute, we've got some more yarns for you to be introduced to next week. Let us know what you're making. We want to see those things. If you're using linen, let us know about it. If you've got other things you want to talk about, let us know about that too. And we'll be back next week for the conclusion, the thrilling conclusion. I think it should be thrilling. He's so thrilled. The thrilling conclusion of Linen Appreciation Month.